Warning: the show you are about to hear contains muscular, intelligent, and intelligible sexy men discussing B-movies, and will contain movie spoilers. Only one of the previous statements is actually true. You decide.
So light that fuse and let it burn. There's no escape, there's no return. Exploding heads and synthwave licks. We're deep in cult classic kicks. Low budget dreams that never quit. Every frame a misfit hit. This is the B-Movie Blitzkrieg Podcast. This is Duncan The Baz. The B-Movie Blitzkrieg Podcast.
Welcome back to the B-Movie Blitzkrieg Podcast, the transmission crackling in from a dystopian future where philosophy is mandatory, trousers are illegal, and a giant floating head screams commandments like they're having a very public breakdown. I'm your host, Duncan McLeish, the bare-chested, although not on camera, chronicler of cult cinema, the man who knows that if a giant stone face starts talking, you should probably run, and the only person who can look at Sean Connery in red nappies and say, yes, oh yes, this is cinema. Tonight, we are stepping through the vortex with the Zardoz from 1974, a film that boldly asks, what if immortality was boring, science was magic, and the future was run by people that had too much time to think? Expect flying headstones, philosophical monologues disguised as sci-fi, guns being outlawed by a gun, and a moustache so powerful it destabilizes the social order. This isn't just a movie, it's a thesis statement delivered at full volume by a disembodied godface. Oh, ladies and gents, I am not venturing into this existential nightmare alone. Oh no, I would never do it. My co-host gazes into the eternal, nods thoughtfully and says, conceptually, this tracks. He is the architect of the apocalyptic analysis, the man who treats immortality like a project management problem, a scholar who sees a floating stone deity and immediately asks about governance and structures. Of course, he is the man, the myth, the legend, the Baz.
Guten Abend, meine sexy Liebchen. And if you thought those crackpots in the Thule Society were weird, you ain't seen nothing yet, my friends.
We have finally made Zardoz, right? And I have been giddy since I put this on the list because, one, this movie is infamous now because, like, Sean Connery has passed, he's been gone for quite a while, and the image of the floating stone heads, and specifically Connery with the ponytail, the moustache, and the kind of, for lack of a better word, red mankini, has become like, it's pop culture. It's transcended over. But moreover on that one, this is directed by the director of Deliverance. Okay. He made it like 2 years before, and that movie won Oscars, and he had like so much carte blanche to do whatever he wanted. And within 2 years, he came back with Zardoz.
Oh, you mean he did Deliverance before he did Zardoz?
Yes, like Deliverance.
Oh,
Deliverance
right,
is
I
the
didn't
cachet that he used to make this movie.
Right.
So, like, you holster that. This is what he did with all that. Like, basically, all that clout he got, where he was like that. People love me now. They recognize I'm a master filmmaker. Zardoz. You'd never seen this before, but I can't imagine you'd never heard of it.
No, I've never seen it before.
Yep.
I don't even know if necessarily heard of it, but like you say, I was familiar with this visual of Connery.
Yeah.
More so than the stone head, I've got to say. And actually, I think one of the reasons is probably the chick Yasmin, who was one of the hosts of the Witchfinger podcast, along with Morgan Lander-Ficketty.
Yeah.
She did a cosplay, and I think it was a Halloween thing or something, and she went as Connery and Zardoz, and it was all sorts of wrong. She had bush popping out left, right, and It was hilarious to see. And so that kind of focused me on it. I think being kind of vaguely aware of it, I had ideas about what the film was going to be, which I'd maybe, I don't know, based around other works that Connery had done.
Yep.
Maybe like Highlander or something like that. It's not like that.
No, this is like this is like just like his mid-70s Connery, so this is kind of post James Bond, but in a world where he is still kind of finding his footing. We're going to take a short break. When we return, Baz is going to try, and I'm going to say try here, and if he gets through this I'll tell you now, I will give you a round of applause on this fucking recording if you deliver a synopsis for this movie that I think actually articulates what the movie is. So no pressure at all.
That's the safest bet you've ever made, son.
Right, we're going to be right back to do that right after this. And welcome back to a segment I've called The Gun is Good, The Gun is God. Baz, this is your opportunity to try and explain the plot of Zardoz in under 5 minutes to our dear captive listeners. The floor, my friend, is yours.
Prepare to be disappointed, mine a camaraden, if not underwhelmed. Sean Connery leads a band of heavily armed Cher impersonators who take their orders from a floating stone head called Zardoz. It's set in the future, about 300 years in the future or something like that. It's Big Sean gets fucked off with the whole setup. Basically, there's him and the Cher impersonators, and then there's these other people called the Eternals, right? They have a good time. The Cher people, not so good. But the Cher people are incredibly violent, much like Cher. Big Sean gets totally fucked off with the whole setup for some reason, so he hides out in the big stone head that they all worship. It floats off and deposits him in the middle of a farm that's populated by the most annoying people in the fucking world. Right. Turns out they're immortal, whereas Connery and the other Shers are not. They're just mortal.
Yeah. He's not found his Highlander power yet.
Nah. There's a lot of kind of vaguely quasi-sexual tomfoolery. And everyone appears to hate everyone else. Some of these eternal folk have gone senile, and they spend their lives in an eternal tea dance, which is fucking weird. There's others that just can't be fucked anymore. Them I get. And turns out all of them just want to fucking die because they can't. I think that's what they want. There's a lot of fucking nonsense, and eventually Big Sean impregnates one of the head honchos. And that's not that surprising because he is quite rapey in this film. Like, I mean, he puts the sensual and non-consensual in a fucking heavy way in this movie. Let me tell you. And then they have a kid. The kid gets older. They get old. They die. That takes about 30 seconds. I'm sure it all makes sense somewhere.
The end. Ladies and gents, we're going to be talking about the good, the rad, the sad, the bad, often the mad, and we're going to be doing it right after this. And welcome back to a segment I've called Red Nappies and Reality Breakdowns. This is the top 5 rad, sad, bad, mad, and there might not be 5, there may be more than 5. Who knows? Who you know what? I'm not going to put a box in it.
Fuck it.
You know, we are so close to the end of season 1. Like, let's not confine ourselves, although I will confine ourselves. This episode has to be 30 minutes. That's the only confines that are here, so make of that what you will. Right, let me kick off. Rad. I love the start of this movie. I like the start. This movie kicks off with the floating Zardoz head, who basically tells you who he is, sets up the premise, and all the rest, and you transition out of that into a giant floating fucking stone head that works its way down across a scene of cavalier fucking red mankini wearing warriors. And then literally starts spitting out guns, talking about how the gun is great, the cock is not. Like literally, just like there's a huge monologue, and like I remember the first time I watched it. I've seen this movie a few times, but I remember the first time watching it like that. What the fuck am I watching? Like, there's Sean Connery's in this. Like, what are we doing here? It is just like it's batshit. Is like it's one of those like openings to a movie that just feels totally fucking surreal. One of those things that'll be imprinted in your brain as a scene that you will remember. But one of those things that you, when you're a kid and you watch something on the telly and you're an adult, you're like, I vividly remember sitting in front of the TV and, you know, watching the fucking Royal Jelly episode of Tales of the Unexpected. Yeah, I think it's like his opening movies. This movie swings so fucking hard at the start, like literally, like his Babe Ruthinness. Like it's like, here's my shot. This is what I'm doing. Does it all hang on that? We're gonna get to it if it manages to follow through. But yeah, I fucking adore the opening of this movie. It's nuts.
My first rad thing is kind of fairly early on in it as well, and that's Zardoz's stash of vacuum-packed sex dolls.
Is this in the head?
I like them a lot, yeah. I mean, you know me, Duncan, I do like an inanimate object that I can fuck. And he has quite the stash of them inside the head.
Like, it's never explained why they're in the head either. Why he's got women stashed in the head. Like, it's never explained at all. We have mentioned this already in your introduction. The immortals in this, I'm also going to mark as a rad. As annoying as they are, and there's a huge swath of them that are, the kind of older, I'm going to call them like the older Shining people, because they all feel like characters from The Shining, like in the scenes towards the end. Well, these older people that are stuck in a dance hall.
The tea dance people.
Yeah, who literally just want to die. Like, and the creator of the Immortals is lying in a fucking deathbed. The idea, the concept of him being eternally stuck on his deathbed because he can't fucking die is like some weird fucking cruel joke in this movie. But all that, like, I love that as a representation of what immortality might bring on. The idea that we're built for a life cycle, and the reason we're built for a life cycle is we're not sophisticated or mentally strong enough to live beyond. Like, you see how quickly people go senile at the best of times. You just have to watch how people vote. And some of those people aren't old. The idea that like society would just descend into this kind of self-hating cesspit if given enough time. So as a concept, I'm also going to say that's fucking rad. So I like that as well.
Fair enough.
Here's the bad.
Yeah. My bad list is quite lengthy, so we'll get into that in a bit. I do have another rad item though. I thought May's erection experiment is quite rad. And when you tie it in with Connery's next level display of cock mastery.
Yeah.
I quite like that, but
you get the feeling that Sean Connery never got an unwanted boner. Ever.
No.
Like, he just like, when he wanted it to be hard, it was hard, and when he wanted it to be soft, it was soft.
And even if it was unwanted, he would use it. No, I mean, didn't go to waste. Didn't go to waste. Do you want to know what's sad?
Give me a sad. We've not had a sad yet.
So there's the little tea towel headed guy, and I don't mean that in a racist way.
No.
Arthur Frayne, I think is his name.
Yes.
So he's basically the guy that is Zardoz, or is supposed to be Zardoz, or thinks he's Zardoz, or other people think he's Zardoz. But he still has to draw his wee bearded moustache on with a Sharpie. Well, I run through my
please
list of
hit
bad
a machine gun. Hit me with some bads.
Right, number one with a bullet: rape nets. They're not cool. They're not cool. You're just running along the beach and a guy on a horse with a big net just catches you and then bangs you on the beach. Completely non-consensually. So that's not cool.
That's not
That's
cool.
bad.
Yes, that is bad.
Some of the kind of cinematography techniques that they use to try and make this thing look arty, they annoyed the tits off me.
It's 74. Come on.
I don't fucking care. The green baguettes, they look like mint Viennettas, but why are they bread? They should be ice cream. They annoy me. I told you everything that annoyed me about the Eternals.
Yeah.
And then do you know what annoyed me the most?
Go for it.
The Wizard of Oz thing.
Did you know? So I like to give you a.
Sorry, I have an incredibly itchy nose. For anybody that's watching this, made the mistake of watching this on YouTube, I don't know what's going on here.
He is not like done a bump before we started recording.
No, I promise you, I haven't.
He's not like so. To give you a bit of context behind that, remember when I said the director had essentially built up that clout from Deliverance and could make any movie he wanted. The movie he wanted to make was a remake of Wizard of Oz.
Oh, really?
Yes, and he wasn't allowed to do it. So that's why you have Zardoz. So he's like, oh, can't make the fucking movie, can I? Then I will do this and also reference this. So yeah, it didn't maybe annoy me as much as you, but I could also imagine that if you don't expect it and that reveal comes in, it is a kind of eye roll moment. It's like, oh, right.
Yeah.
Cool. Zardoz. Excellent. That explains the weird fucking name.
Yeah, it almost annoyed me more that I hadn't twigged. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think had you seen The Wizard of Oz, you would have twigged it. So that's
possibly.
Do you have anything else?
Oh, I'm spent, big man. Absolutely fucking spent.
Let's talk about some quotes. The dialogue isn't great in this movie, but maybe there's a line or two we can discuss. We're going to be doing it right after this. And welcome back to a segment that I've called Quotes That Sound Better Yelled by a Giant Stone Hand. Lines from this movie. Like I said, the problem with this movie is I think that the dialogue is written in such a way where I think it thinks it's smarter than it is.
Yeah.
As a result, there ain't a ton of lines that I can pick out as being like really fun or really quirky.
The first one, and the kind of only one that really made me laugh, and you've actually mentioned it, but the actual quote is, "The gun is good, but the penis is evil."
I mean,
that caught me unawares.
It's a great line. It's a fucking great line because like you're then like the penis is evil, and then the mouth of this fucking thing opens and it's literally like shotgun shells and like mass weapons or a fucking Walmart on a Saturday. It's literally, I'll be honest, like I have two things here, and the two things I have is the gun is good, and then the second quote is the penis is evil.
Right.
Do you have anything? Go for it.
The only other one is later on at the tea dance bit, and the kind of, I think it's the guy that's been kind of punished by aging him.
Yeah, they half age his face.
He says, "Now hear this, you old farts," and that made me laugh quite a bit.
Is that all we have? That's literally it. Ladies and gents, I'm going to say that might be the shortest quotes from a movie that we've ever done. And we've done ones where we've literally come in and said, there isn't really anything in this. And we got 3 lines out there and managed to do it in less than 2.5 minutes. So, you know what? Let's talk plot holes because Baz says he's got a couple here. I've got a few. Let's find out what they are right after this. And welcome back to a segment I've called Plot Holes Bigger Than the Stonehead Itself. There's a lot of references to the Stonehead. And the reason that I ran out of... We are 19 episodes in and my creative juices and innovativeness has dried up a little. I'm trying to hold it back for the final episode, so check that out when it drops.
The creative juices have dried up like Nigel Farage's wife. Just evaporates. Sorry, I really hate him at the moment. So
I fucking despise everything about him, and the fact that people seem keen on him makes me wonder why the fuck civilization exists. It's like, yeah, we'll get it's a separate recording. That's the political podcast that me and Baz are going to start on the side, which
Baz
I
and
imagine will be more
Fuck the
popular than
world.
this. You mentioned that you had a couple of plot holes. I can't
do.
imagine with a movie that is so perfectly formed in philosophy that there would be
honestly.
anything that you would have issue with. So go for it.
Well, the first one just says, how the fuck did Connery get inside the floating stone head of Zardoz?
Yeah,
But that is explained later on. But
loosely explain it.
at the start, it's like, how did he get inside there?
Mhm.
To the point that I'm going like that, did I do that thing where I fall asleep for like seconds? And then kind of
Did that miss an
bit, do you know what I
entire
mean?
plot bit here?
So that annoyed me. Right, but here's a proper one for you, right?
Over
If
it.
Zardoz gives his followers the gift of the gun,
Yep.
right? And we're in 2239, year
Yes.
of our Lord, right? Why do they all have World War II level equipment? Why aren't they busting out the photon cannons and laser blasters and fucking lightsabers?
Because you're watching it from the premise of... You're watching it from a now premise. In 1974, that's what weapons look like.
Yeah, but in 1974, if I was making a film set in 2293, I wouldn't have given him a Weber revolver. Do you know what I mean?
The world is a dystopian future, so you don't know when everything fell apart. You're just thrown into the bit where it's kind of the humdrum of when it has fallen apart exists. So,
Zardoz is a fucking idiot. Right?
well, look, that's literally my big plot hole is that I don't understand Zardoz as a character at all. Like, so, like his like he's went off the grid. Everything he's doing with the kind of brutalists and whatnot is not known by the Eternals. So he's went off the grid and he's running this as a side quest, and no one has any oversight of it at all. But I don't know what the premise of what is the utility of what Zardoz is doing with that at all. Not explained.
Theoretically, you could have this film without Zardoz in it. Really,
100% it would work. You could
Yeah.
have a situation where Connery peeks beyond the civilization that he's groomed into and realizes there's another civilization beyond it, and this movie would work just as well philosophically and metaphorically and narratively. It would work just as fine. So the inclusion of Zardoz doesn't make any sense to me at all. Out with the links back to the Wizard of Oz, which was the movie he wanted to make. So
Zed, as Connery's kind of character is actually called, is one of these, they're the Brutals or something they're called, this kind of warrior race, right? And they kind of just wanton destruction and raping and pillaging and that. So how come when he gets captured by the fucking cast of Blake 7, doesn't he just kill them all?
no idea. There's
You know
not
what I mean?
one person in the Eternals that looks like they would last half
No.
a second in a fist fight with Connery.
Nah.
Literally, my biggest, I've mentioned it, my biggest plot hole in this one is why does Zardoz even exist?
Yeah.
Because it
Which is
doesn't
a fair
add
bit.
anything.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
Nah.
Dude, we are going to score this and then get out of this bitch. We're going to do it right after this. Right. Welcome back, ladies and gents. Let's talk rated R for red nappies and radical philosophy. And you know what? Rampant confusion, which was partially most of the time we were watching this movie. Scoring out of 5, Baz. I get a feeling my score is going to be higher, maybe by a couple of digits, than yours. What are you scoring, Zardoz?
1, fucking hate this film.
Honestly?
Oh, I hate it. Hate it. It made me feel dumb. It made me feel like Tenebrae all over again.
I was literally talking about Tenebrae last week with a colleague at work who was talking about they'd watched some movie and the movie was confusing and they had to get their friend to explain it to them. And I was like, that's nothing. I've had to explain this Italian horror movie to my like movie loving friend more than once, and at this stage, like we're about 3 or 4 explanations in it, and I still don't think he actually understands.
No,
I
I'm
think
gonna
he's
need
humouring
watch
me
it
to the
again,
point where
basically.
he just nods and goes, aye, aye, like that. And he said he's like that. Not a fucking clue, and that didn't happen. So I've got this 4 out of 5. I really like this.
Fuck off.
I really like this movie, dude. I really like it. I think this is what I love about 70s cinema. It is bonkers. It's out there. It's high concept, but the execution doesn't quite meet it. But it leans so much into this is just a real place. Like, see when movies spend too much time trying to explain why people do things that they do, or the world is the way that it is, I kind of get drawn out at. Zardoz just puts you, it's like a roller coaster ride, just kind of puts you in a situation of this is what the world, like that opening monologue is the setup to everything that you see after that. You kind of have to just go with it. And if you don't, you're gonna get lost. So
See,
yeah,
I disagree. I think it's more like it just shits in its hand and then rubs it in your face. Hate this film. Absolutely hate this, but I will never watch this film again.
this might be the
Never.
biggest gap between our grades
Do you
as
know,
well.
I was just thinking because I've been surprised at how many films we've come in bang on the same.
Which never
Doing
happened
this-
on the other show. So
No, no, never. And I thought, well, that's, I'm far less of a film buff than you, so kind of, well, maybe my tastes are maturing and I'm kind of raising my game a little bit kind of thing, but no, you're wrong about this. This film's fucking shite.
well, you're gonna love my ending because I pre-anticipated your score and I've worked it in here. So there you go, ladies and gents. A 1 from the Baz seems a little low, and a 4 from Duncan kind of feels on point. I've got the microphone right now, so I can say that. Let's close out this show. And that's a wrap on Zardoz from 1974, a film that dares to turn sci-fi into a philosophical endurance test. Dress its star like a rejected gladiator action figure, and it still insists it has something important to say. It's strange, ambitious, deeply flawed, and impossible to forget. You know, the kind of movie that lives rent-free in your brain forever, whether you want it to or not. A huge thanks to the Baz, the only man who can watch society collapse under the weight of eternal life and calmly say, conceptually interesting, execution, ... shite. See, told you I'd already pre-anticipated this. If you love what we do here, subscribe, rate, and review, and spread the gospel of glorious trash cinema on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Your support keeps the stone head afloating. Next time on the season finale of the B-Movie Blitzkrieg, we are closing out season 1 with Q, the Winged Serpent, a film that says, what if a giant flying god lived in New York and the real monster was municipal incompetence? We're going to get to it. Expect rooftop rituals, furious detectives, stop-motion terror, and a city that once again proves it cannot handle anything unusual. Until then, keep your guns metaphorical, your gods questionable, and remember that here at the B-Movie Blitzkrieg, the bizarre meets the brilliant, one B-movie at a time. Baz, say goodbye to our listeners, please.
Guten Nacht, mein sexy Liebchen. And if there was a film that ever supports our program of euthanasia, it's this one. Blitzkrieg!
The B-Movie Blitzkrieg does not support euthanasia.